With so many hero equipment combinations, it can be tough to choose the right one for you. So let's break down each hero's best equipment combos that can give you an edge in your attacks. Starting with the Dragon Duke, we have his Fireheart and Stun Blaster. This is currently his best combination, with both equipment offering significant benefits when paired with the Angry Jelly. From the Fireheart, you have a large amount of self-healing coming in, allowing the Duke to stay alive much longer, so long as he is not taking any big damage elsewhere. However, you also have the Death Blast, which can come in handy in different situations. The Stun Blaster, however, gives you a lot of flexibility for him and your troops, with a large range stun for a decent amount of time, making it a great option for nearly every army. And since his first epic equipment is scheduled to come next month in April, and it has been leaked by the official Clash of Clans channel, his Fireheart and new epic will likely be just as strong. Based on what we see in that short, we can tell that he will basically act similarly to the Queen's Giant Arrow, except he is the Giant Arrow. While we're unsure of the damage, it should be a strong equipment, especially when paired with the Angry Jelly. So having the Fireheart helps with the large self-healing and damage on death, which can help him get value no matter if he stays alive or falls. Moving to the Barbarian King, we first have his Spiky Ball and Snake Bracelet. This combo is his bread and butter when it comes to funneling. This combo will give your king a ridiculous amount of HP while clearing buildings on the outside of the base. With its best use being funneling, both the king and the snakes have synergy together, allowing him to both survive longer and take out defenses over walls with the snakes, and especially with the Spiky Ball, offering instant long-range damage no matter where he is. You additionally have the Earthquake Boots and Spiky Ball. This is another solid combo that the Barbarian King has, mostly designed for attacks where the king is used inside the base and is supporting other ground troops or heroes that cannot avoid walls, such as Super Witches or the Archer Queen. He can also clear out plenty of buildings and defenses with the Earthquake Boots' damage percent and Spiky Ball's projectile damage. Additionally, a newer combo that is quite flexible and strong is the Giant Gauntlet and Stick Horse. This combo gives the king a way for him to ignore walls himself while attacking and moving much faster. This synergizes with the Giant Gauntlet effectively for its fairly good damage reduction and splash damage, allowing it to be a fairly strong synergy in plenty of armies ranging from Electro Dragons to Throwers. With the Grand Warden, he has so many strong combinations, but let's first start with the combos you can use with the Eternal Tome. His Eternal Tome can work quite well with the different equipment, such as the Rage Gem and Healing Tome. With the Healing Tome, it offers great survivability and healing for a decent duration of time, which is perfect for spam armies that aren't using healers or air armies that really need the healing more than anything. If you're using healers often, however, consider using the Rage Gem with the Eternal Tome for the protection with the Eternal Tome, but the power buff to both troops and healers via the Rage Gem's 50% boost. However, the Eternal Tome is not the only option, which you can also use the Rage Gem with the Healing Tome. This one is mostly great to use for tanky units that either don't need healers or use healers but don't need additional protection. If you prefer smash armies, the Rage Gem has two distinct combos that work well. The Fireball and Rage Gem is a very powerful combo despite not working well with every army. This mainly allows you to either set up funneling for your smash attack, or it can clear out a large area out of the core of the base in Warden charge attacks. The Rage Gem in this case can buff the healer's healing output and can also buff other troops if you're using him in more of a supportive role. However, the Rage Gem and Heroic Torch is another very powerful combo so long as you can set up funneling. This is a very underrated equipment combo in my personal opinion, as unlike the Fireball, it's best used inside the base so he can enable the army to avoid walls while buffing their movement speed and decreasing the amount of damage they take. However, if you prefer using troops like Throwers, the Rage Gem Life Gem combo is fairly solid. This gives your troops both an HP increase with the Life Gem and a buff to damage and or healing with the Rage Gem. While this is a double passive combo, it can be very powerful as you don't need to time or use an ability on him, and revive spells become a bit more valuable with these two equipment that have no time limit. Moving to the Archer Queen, let's start with her magic mirror combos, mainly with either the action figure or healer puppets. No matter which one you use, you have the value of survivability from either a beefy tank or multiple healers. The mirror also provides 2 more queens, which increases your total DPS even further, and when with either healers or the giant, you can get great value. For most players, the magic mirror and action figure will be preferred among most ground armies. But if you lack the action figure or it's not leveled up, consider using the healer puppets. If you prefer air armies or are dealing with invis towers, use any of the giant arrow combos. This mainly synergizes with either the action figure or healer puppets again. These 2 equipment are survivability options for your queen, and similar to the magic mirror, they provide value depending on your equipment and or situation. The action figure is often more valuable thanks to the beefy giant you get, but healer puppets also work just as well. But the queen might get taken down by heavy damage. The giant arrow in this combo is super versatile, with plenty of ways to use it, from activating invis towers, pairing it with Zapquake, or even using it to snipe an air defense or sweeper in air armies. With the Minion Prince, we'll first start with the Dark Orb and Meteor Staff. This combo offers a lot to the Prince, as it obviously has the Dark Orb for the powerful slow on defenses in a decently wide range, while also offering passive damage on the nearest defense every few seconds. This works so well in most air armies due to the Prince being able to always get damage. However, if you need better survivability for the Prince himself, the Dark Orb with either the Henchman Puppets or Dark Crown are a solid choice. While both equipment aren't really his strongest anymore, they are viable depending on if you prefer the common henchman for tanking traps or the increased HP and damage for your Prince specifically, but only when troops fall. Both do give survivability in different ways, but are solid options nonetheless if you prefer more tanking for the Prince. And finally, we get to the Royal Champion, where we'll start with her Electro Boot combos, namely with either the Rocket Spear, Haste Vial, or Frostflake. Each combo offers something different depending on how you're running the Royal Champion. If you're using the Electro Boots with the Rocket Spear, it's often a flexible combo no matter the strategy. This allows you to pair it within short RC charges or as general support, as it allows you to snipe defenses inside the base with the Rocket Spear while clearing out skeleton traps and adding some passive damage with the Electro Boots. If you're using a longer Royal Champion charge, I'd consider the Haste Vial for the quicker movement and attack speed while clearing out defenses. As for the Frostflake, this is a bit more situational, but having a solid freeze for a short duration does help, as it can work inside the base when the Rocket Spear's damage isn't going to cut it and you need more stalling power to keep your attack moving. Now, if you prefer the Rocket Spear instead, you do have a few options for combos. This includes the use of either the Frostflake or the Seeking Shield. If you're using Warden charge armies, the Frostflake and Spear tends to be a strong option, as it lets the Royal Champion do damage with her Rocket Spears while supporting your main hero push with the Frostflake. However, if you use the Seeking Shield, you can use the Royal Champion to set up pathing for troops like the Dragon Riders, or used on the back end to clear out defenses. Whichever combo you choose, you should be able to find something that fits your personal playstyle and the best one for your strategy. However, you may want to check out this featured video on screen if you want to further watch my content. With that said, I'll catch y'all later.